Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. So this is gonna be a short stream. We're not gonna be playing anything. I just kind of wanted to talk with everybody, and address the situation. I know most people are familiar with what's going on. They just had a few more videos from Chicken. I seen one from Liz talking about the situation. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been on my mind, mostly because like this just amount of negativity around this really kind of bogs things down. You know what I mean? It kind of it just kind of drowns all the funness that kind of came with this game. So I want to say the biggest updates right now. We can go through the details a little later on. I've got like some talking points up here, so I don't lose my track of thought because I tend to do that when I ramble. The biggest update is that well, I mean, Hoon talked about it. Carlos and them talked about it as well. Hoon, you can tell, feels awful about this. He said that he and Zane have talked about it and they're going to give the money that they were earning for the promotion that they did. They're going to be giving that to the team, which I think is really cool of them. So I guess I kind of wanted to start about this is like the reason I got into Mobile Legends is kind of the overall reason that I started streaming, and that was kind of because I wanted to entertain people. And I love doing that. I love kind of lifting people's spirits. Even when I was in the military, that was a big thing. I hated yelling at people. I hated being like the prototypical like fucking, you know, having to be all like in people's faces. I think people respond better to joy or jokes, or you know what I mean, and being entertained, which is what I've always kind of tried to do when it comes to streaming and stuff. I just knew that I was entertaining, and I kind of just wanted to kind of spread that. When above that, I've always been a fan of North America esports and stuff like that. Whether it was other games or Mobile Legends, the big reason I kind of fell in love with Mobile Legends is because of the community. I'm not gonna lie, I had my apprehensions about the game because I mean there was just a lot of stuff surrounding the game, but the community itself was this thriving and passionate and like fiery sun of people who love the game, collaborations, content videos, community tournaments, just so much going on in North America. Even with when I first got in, I believe it was right before M1, and Team Gosu had like a pretty dismal performance over there. Just the pride that North America took in it, still wanting to see Gosu go up and try again. And it was like 2 years till we went back to an M series after that. I don't think we even went to M2, and then finally there was the legendary M3 that happened. But with that is part of the reason that I kind of got into casting, is because the community was, with all the community tournaments and stuff like that, like I just really wanted to give back. Like, even if we didn't have a pro team at the time, I just wanted those like community teams to kind of hear or feel what it would be like to have their games cast. Given that I wasn't a pro caster, but like I just thought like I can do that. Like I know I can do that. You know what I mean? I would watch Assassin Dave, the who was the Dota caster that happened with him on that first event? I forgot who that was. And I looked at that and I'm like, you know, I know I can do better than that. And kind of make it worth it. And I wanted people to feel that excitement that I felt, so to portray that excitement out to other people because of the community. And I found something that, like, I'm not gonna lie, I just found something that I really loved too. Like, casting has been like a dream come true ever since I was little. Like, there was points where I wanted to be like a radio DJ or something that just entertained people on that type of like facet. And it's always been kind of like that dream. Y'all know I've been trying to fight to go to internationals to cast for stuff like that ever since this, which we'll get into a little bit later. But being in this hobby, and even in games before this, a big thing that I've always tried to do is remain true. I've found it super difficult to kind of stay in the background. A lot of people, I feel like, say things super safely in this hobby, especially when it has to do with BTK, especially when it has to do with Hoon and all of them, because they don't want to upset the fandom. And I've never really had that inclination of it. When I first started playing and streaming and giving commentary about the things that were going on, I wasn't a huge fan of Hoon, because I want to say there were multiple events that he would play with a team and he wouldn't be able to go to internationals. And I'm like, why would you even play with them if you're going to set them at a negative when you go to internationals? Same thing with Zane. I have been a huge Zane fan, despite what people think, because I will be the first to critique him when he does something kind of shitty. The MSE thing before this, where there were those racist tirades, I was the first one to say, like, bro, like, you know, that's unprofessional. And then, of course, the entire clipping and fandom will jump down your throat because you're not this, like, blindingly subservient fan to somebody. And just because you dare to, like, critique something, it means that you obviously don't like them. But I've always been a huge fan of his, mostly because while I'll critique that, I understand the passion and the emotionality that comes with being a player and playing at that level and having that intensity to be so good. The whole point being that I've never shied away from saying when, especially with the Cloud9 incidents, is like, I've never shied away from saying when a player is doing something shitty, when guys are when these dudes need to, like, shape the fuck up, or when it's their fault. And no matter how I try to look at it, I don't see that as their fault right now when it comes to this whole situation. Now, to kind of unload on this situation and give you guys a little bit of history, after the Riyadh tournament was announced, well, actually, before it was announced, when it was still in the planning stages, there were a lot of inclinations and talks. North America, I had contacts when it came to what was going on with certain Moonton meetings and things that were going on in the back about, like, what they thought about things, what the plans were. One thing is, with these tournaments, the very disappointing thing that I was very scared of is that eventually these tournaments would end. And I remember asking a lot of people, especially when it came to some of our Moonton reps, about, you know, I would even try to go out there. I had people that I could talk to about sponsorships, getting money for these tournaments, things so that while Moonton, I keep saying it wrong, was taking care of us at this point, if we start building up sponsorships, if we start building up connections with ads or something like that, we could eventually wean off from them completely paying for all of these events. But like that was met with like an absolute hard no. They wanted absolutely nothing to do with that. They did not. There was going to be no. They basically they just stopped us from any type of like earning potential because they wanted control of it. And at the time, I was like, all right. I mean, talking with them, it felt like they had a very long-term plan to build up North America. And I'm like, all right. I mean, trust with it. When the Riyadh thing was in the planning stages, there was a lot of talks that I was told about that the international teams with Moonton were basically being let go. There was no longer North America was part of a bunch of different seed regions that they were trying to grow, and basically they just shut down all of the teams that represented all of that. And this is because, and this is just going to be hearsay, that with Riyadh, EWC, with all the MPLs, they saw a way that they could basically keep esports afloat without investing basically almost anything into it except for like M series. And that, like I said, that is kind of like at the time it was kind of a rumor, but in the back there were so many kind of little like red flags for it. Every single NACT, something was getting taken away. It was getting, certain things were getting, I don't want to say smaller, because the event itself, the people who showed up, it did what it was supposed to. It gained traction, got more people there, bigger and bigger crowds. Like, to the last few live NACTs, I remember having to scream while casting because I could not hear, because there were so many people packing the stage and cheering and screaming. The views were always breaking the newer records for it as well. And but little things like the owner of E-Stars, I talked with him a bit back, and there were comments about how he was investing a lot of his own money to run a lot of it because of what was being pulled back. And each event, it kept on getting like worse and worse until we weren't able to work with E-Stars anymore. We went with something a little lighter, and then something a little lighter. And always with Dave, like, I want to say, like, you could just tell with Dave with how stressed it was getting, because he had to be more and more hands-on, because we were kind of working with less and less. But there was always like that whole community aspect of different people pitching in to help out with stuff. Even Xena was running the behind the scenes, I want to say, what do we call it? The events for everybody who arrived there, all those little games and stuff. Xena was doing stuff like that. When they said that they needed filler for a segment, they wanted us to do like a talent show or something, and somehow I was just like, fuck it, I'll do it. What do you guys need? I'll do something. And my dumbass was up there singing. Like, we all tried to pitch in as much as we can to try to make these shows a success every season, with like less and less resources. But I just wanted to kind of point out that that's kind of where Moonton is at right now with it, is that they see the esports in North America as too expensive. Now, the thing with the contracts and where I stand on that. When I first read it and I saw the dates on there. I'm not gonna lie, my initial reaction was these dates are qualifying when MSC starts and not the active date of the contract. However, with that said, and even if you want to give that to them, there were no qualifying dates of when the contract started. That stuff was left in blank. So there just was nothing there. And that's just not how contracts work. You don't get to just say now and forevermore this is in effect. So that only leaves the other part of the contract that is really what the killer is. And that's why I say, like, everybody's focusing on these dates. Everybody keeps, or at least some of the small portion of people who are siding against, who are saying, well, they're basically, there are some people saying that, oh, they should have read the contract. They did. And I think we all basically at this point have a pretty decent understanding of the contract. And there was no misunderstanding of the contract. It was just misrepresentation to where it was a predatory contract where they can basically do whatever they want and fix they can interpret it. It can mean whatever they want it to mean, basically, no matter what. Which I guess, I mean, if we're going to talk about legally and stuff like that, I mean, gaming things do this a ton of times. But I think the big factor here is whether or not that was fair to players in North America that were not allowed to make money for, 5 months? They weren't allowed to do anything that would kind of benefit them. And we're talking about, and I mentioned this before, we're talking about mobile MOBA gamers. This skill set is not exactly meant for streaming tons of other things. You know what I mean? It's a very particular skill set where they can make money. And that's literally only with Mobile Legends or their competitors. And if Mobile Legends isn't going to pay you, somebody's got to afford all of this stuff. And when we talk about, like, I know my initial visceral reaction to this was like, why would you do that? But when you sit back and you take a moment to realize all that these guys have done, the lack of a monetary grand prize, the fact that these dudes spent their own money to go to a better, not just them too, and we're talking about the whole in North America, Area 77, the Valley, BTK, all these dudes spent their own money knowing that at the very least they would probably not be recouping this money. And then that's for for the last one. For this one, none of them are going to be recouping their money until they eventually would be going to EWC. I just kind of want to stress on that because that kind of speaks to the dedication a lot of these guys showed. Now, there have been a lot of hashtags saying that people stand with BTK. And this, I know this is going to get me a lot of flack, but I kind of find it hollow for people to be like, yo, I stand with BTK. All right, let me get back into the fucking game. Like, it's basically like Facebook hopes and fucking prayers. Like, yeah, thanks for the support. The I know some people, I guess it's their livelihood. It's their only means of earning money for that fandom and stuff. It still irks me nonetheless. So, and it's not something that I can do. I can't just sit here and say I stand with BTK and all right guys, let's get back into this game. So I want to say effective now, I'm going to be stepping back from streaming Mobile Legends. Just because I can't in good faith say that I stand with BTK and then right now continue to play the game. Now, I know that that most likely means that I'll lose KOL, but more importantly, I will most likely not realize that dream of casting internationals for Mobile Legends. But it's just, I don't know. I feel very strongly about this, and especially about the negativity that is surrounding this right now. I even struggled a bit, even though I had fun last time I streamed on Monday. It was on my mind, and it's been on my mind throughout work, through these last 2 days. Um, but like I said, it's just and that's why I said like because I see all these other people saying that I stand with BTK, and it's like, but what does that mean? And I kind of want to make sure that it's kind of put out there that people understand what it means to me. And I really feel like Moonton should reconsider this decision for BTK. Um, the thing is I really feel like the company had, even if it was a small concern, that BTK Soul did well at, and this has been on my mind, and this is so conspiracy theorist, but I really feel like they were scared that North America was going to do well, because if we have another incident like M3 where like they shock the world and suddenly there grows this huge interest in North America, then they would have to pony up. There would be such an outcry that they would have to pony up to kind of keep things alive in North America. And I think they saw this as an easy out. They get to shut it down quietly with that they would, yeah, it's just, um, so I did say something last time, and this is on you guys. The only thing that they did listen last time when people were one starring the game in the Play stores. But that was for a region that is their main region, the Philippines. And there's such a narrative control right now Flied said that they did super well in scrims. Well, and that's the thing. Even if it was just a small chance that they do well, I feel like I don't know. He said if you leave the game, you let them win. I'm hoping that they will reconsider. There is a pretty large outcry through the community about this. But like I said, right now, it seems hollow for me to say I stand with BTK and then continue playing it right now. I don't know how other people like I said, I really care about North America. I really care about the scene. And at the very least, with everything that's happened, I felt like we deserved a last hurrah. Like I've known that there wasn't going to be an NACT since the start of the last NACT. And I was kind of hoping, I was like looking, and I think I told a few people, I think I talked about it on stream a little bit, that MSC was going to be like our last chance. And there was a part of me that was kind of understanding what a huge long shot that is. And part of me had just kind of accepted that maybe this could just be our last hurrah, you know? Go out with a little bit of a bang. And I don't know, maybe I talked about possibly continuing on with community tournaments in North America and seeing how that goes. And just kind of continuing on something because like of the love I have for the North American community, to at least give them something. But this visceral response from MSC, even with the misinterpretations that we give them, the almost maximum punishment for it, just I kind of have to agree that it seems like they're just being made an example of. I unfortunately don't think they'll change it unless bigger names are involved. And then maybe bigger names need to be involved. And maybe the community needs to kind of like not let people off the hook. If you say you fucking support BTK, then it's like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? What are you doing? What is your, where is your stand? It's like I support BTK as long as it doesn't affect my streaming schedule with Mobile Legends, and you know what I mean? Like maybe start holding people accountable for it. Or are we, is it just basically the hollow ass like fucking thoughts and prayers and like 15 likes for a thought and prayer for BTK? Like I said, I've grown to love this community and like entertaining you guys, and especially casting. Like I said, I my friends know Yukino and all of them who have been, and Xena and all of these people who know me for real know that no matter what has been, and I've gone through some shit on my personal life, but that fucking bright light for me has always been casting for you guys and entertaining and kind of spreading that cheer for you guys. Like what bigger names? Like content creators, casters, people, the I don't know. Cuz right now what it looks like is everybody's like gung ho for I support BTK. But I think Moonton is counting on this to all dissipate in a few months and for everybody to just forget about that. And by the time M7 comes around, like the people won't even be talking about it anymore. And those same people who said that they support will go back to streaming, will go back to supporting it. The main problem in North America is not just the stigma, because and that is a huge part of it. You guys don't understand how many great mobile MOBA players there are out there. It's not just Zane. There's tons of them that when Wild Rift came out, they jumped on it. When HOK came out, they jumped on it. And I talked to a few of them because I knew them back from AOV. I knew them back from Vainglory. People from Vainglory, bro, that was like 6, 7, 8 years ago. These people fucking fell off the face of the planet. And Mobile Legends has still been out there. But when HOK and Wild Rift came out, they jumped on it. And I'm like, bro, why not go to like Mobile Legends and stuff where they're like, at the time, trying to grow the scene? And the biggest answer was because most people thought it was a scam. It was some pay to win game. It was some ripoff. Because the earlier iterations of it were kind of questionable. I think, yeah. NA is already a small demographic of Moonton. Here's the thing, though, and this is what I have been wondering. NA is a small demographic of Moonton, but we have the most money. How much are skins? Like, wasn't each Naruto skin about $100? $100 US. Now, to us, I don't know what kind of lifestyle you live in, but $100 even in the US, that's pretty steep. You know what I mean? That's like, man, you gotta love the game. You know what I mean? You gotta really love the game. You know what I mean? But put that into Philippines and Indonesia currency. That's fucking rent. You know what I mean? That's like a crazy amount. So while the US is a small demographic, we have the deepest pockets. And that's why I've always thought, because when I looked up stats, it always showed, I don't even know if I can look it up. You know what? Let me see if I can. But when I used to look it up, it used to say North America spent the most money on Mobile Legends. But when I would talk with Moonton reps, they would say in their meetings, it was Indonesia by a lot. And that's why I'm like, I kind of got questionable about like, why would they just dump North America if it's got like that big of a... We should start a spending strike. The thing is too, I don't know how much of the community even watches or pays attention to stuff like that. Like the esports scene. You know what I mean? Like, as much as like people who like to get to Mythic every season and want to be like super competitive with it, there is a wealth of other players who just play the game. You know what I mean? They don't watch streams. They don't watch esports. They don't go to YouTube to find out drama with Mobile Legends. It's like Farmville for them. They just log in, play. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much turning away the fans of the esports side affects it. Which countries spend the most money on Mobile Legends? Let's see what ChatGPT can tell me. Who is the MSC committee? Okay, so according to ChatGPT, oh, this is 2019. Let's go with a more recent. 2019 is when I joined, bitches. "2019 is like M1. Let's go fucking." All right, ChatGPT is kind of getting crazy. Are we talking about MLBB still? So back in 2019, the U.S. was third place. Malaysia was first. Indonesia was second. And then the U.S. was third. But this is 2019. Well, and that's who was top one. Top one was Malaysia. That was 2019 though. For some reason, the most recent things are saying Thailand is up there. I don't know how reliable this is though. What about ECCA region? Fourth place Singapore. European Union, China. Yeah, you're not even in top 5 right now. Oh, was there a raid? Thank you so much for the raid. Yes, I'm talking about Russia and Turkey, Orochimaru. You guys aren't even in the top 5. Those are Saudis staying in Thailand, most likely. As a last resort, maybe you can move to English casting in another region like Naisu did. Naisu didn't move regions, though. He was in the Philippines when he was picked up. Yeah, but I want to say like we're not gonna. I feel bad for the raid because we're kind of at a short stream here today. I just wanted to kind of put my thoughts out there. Ugh, dude, you guys have no idea how frustrated it is too, because there was a lot of things that I've been lining up. I got an editor who was going to be pumping out like a video a day. Well, I hope that's your real name, Jing Jong or whatever. I kind of explained this a little earlier. If you guys here, I behoove you, especially on YouTube, to watch this video over again. But that is probably one of my biggest complaints about this whole ordeal, because when these tournaments started in North America, they refused to allow us to even look for sponsorships. And sponsorships would have helped us wean off of needing them to sponsor our tournaments. Chicken even touched on it too, that Dave had sponsorships ready to go for like a 50K prize pool for North America for a community tournament that would decide M7. But Moonton turned it down. They didn't want, there's not going to be a community tournament that decides who goes to M7. Yeah, that's the kicker thing, is they didn't allow sponsorship. It's not like we sat on our hands and knees while they had NACTs. Like, people actively looked out. They approached Moonton and they didn't want any of it. And that's the thing that kind of kills me, is because we had opportunities to kind of make it self-sustaining, but every single time it was kind of knocked down by them. And that's why I kind of feel, not just for North America, but a lot of these other regions that kind of got shut down. Freaking Europe, who has been trying so desperately to get something, anything, from this game. They put on professional grade, like, I guess you could call them community tournaments. But they put on professional grade stuff, and they almost didn't let Cloud9. Yeah, they. Unfortunately, it just has to do with the popularity in the U.S. Moonton has their favorites: Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia. You know what I mean? All the MPL regions they have, and they're happy with that because they don't have to lift a finger for it. They've got their own sponsorship, and for whatever reason, they decided that they don't want to grow in any other region. And it's not, the game's not going to die, despite what everybody wishes would happen at this point. It's not going to die because it's still going to be kept alive, and it's so a part of their culture. You know what I mean? Like billboards, ads, restaurants, comic books out there. You know, it's just they're happy with that, and they don't see a need, and we're irrelevant to them, I guess, and they kind of showed that with this decision. J1, I read that too, but that was a 2019 stat. I was trying to look, and that was before esports really picked up in North America. I wanted to see what the spending was like after esports picked up in North America. I just can't find anything that's recent. They have something against NA. It's like they proactively wanting this region to fail, at least in esports.
I don't. I just don't know. Um, if I start playing HOK, it's not going to be because I'm bitter at Mobile Legends. Like I said, right now, I feel like to reinforce the statement that I do indeed stand with BTK. I will not be streaming or participating in stuff with Mobile Legends right now. And HOK is not a bad game. But what I'm not gonna do right now is do something out of spitefulness and anger. You know what I mean? Because then that just makes it not eventually. First of all, that's just not how I am. I don't try to lead everything by like spitefulness and anger because that just weighs heavily on you, dude. It's like it's just so much negativity and like it just makes things taste worse.
I don't know how else to explain it. And number two, anger fades. You know what I mean? And all these people who are like so spitefully and angrily playing it, is that going to keep them playing it for a while, or is it all just going to kind of go away? I would rather something. If another community like that's going to grow, it's not going to grow out of spitefulness. It's going to grow out of people understanding and liking the game, or and liking the people that are involved with it. I can't say that they have something bad because to hear that a rival organization and game set aside contract stuff to support players who they didn't even know, who weren't even part of their esports scene, to try to help them with this, that says a lot about the company. You know what I mean? It says a lot about the people who run that type of stuff. And like I said, and I don't want to cloud that with it, you need to have a healthy recovery period. You know, yeah, and that's the thing. You have to look at it like a relationship, honestly, bro. You can't just bounce back onto something. Will I be checking out HOK? I probably will. Will I stream it? If I do something right now, there's other games I like that I want to play with friends. That I play with Xena, that I play with Yukino, that I play with other friends. That we might stream more of that. But if I go into a game like that, I have to go in 110%. So it's not gonna be a kind of sorta. If I go to HOK, it's not going to be I kind of like HOK, I'll play it and kind of stream it. No, it's going to be like hardcore. I'm fucking grinding this game. I want to learn this game because I want to understand it, because I want to be able to kind of pass that on to everybody else, potentially maybe even be able to cast it so that my dream of casting doesn't die here. Do they have no options for earning money? So I talked about this already. But erase everything you know about yourself and imagine that. How long has it been? 10 years maybe? For Zane? 10 years of your life. Same thing with Hoon. Have been dedicated to being a pro player, being a streamer. Doesn't have another job. His skills lie in mobile MOBAs. A very niche, not MOBAs, mobile MOBAs. So a very niche and specific set of skills that he has. Who do you think is willing to pay for that type of skill set and that type of fandom? Very specifically, only possibly Mobile Legends, only possible HOK. Is there another one? Pokemon? Pokemon Unite, maybe? But it's literally only the game that you're playing and their competitors. That's the only people that you're worth anything to. Nobody else cares. There's no fucking first-person shooter that wants to pick up Zane and his fucking fans, because his fans don't give a fuck about those types of games. There's no other fucking, I don't know, Minecraft or anything. No other game cares. That's what happened, and that's where, like, these players, that's how their money is earned, is through stuff like that. Oh, Wild Rift, that's right, that's true. Wild Rift, same thing though. But like, I don't think Wild Rift is paying their influencers anymore. Vlogs? You think Zane? Well, that's the same. They don't. Zane isn't a vlogger. HOK planned all this. If HOK planned all of this, they wouldn't have helped Zane and Hoon try when it came to these contracts and stuff like that. He said, I don't even know how much rent is. Depending on what you got. Zane does stocks or bitcoins. What is this? What are we talking about? Basically 5-man live streams to gather up money for boot camp while being able to practice at the same time. HOK is evil for making them stream. Who's more evil? The company that is just looking for streamers for an event that they're throwing that is literally like a few days long. They have 3 days. And these contracts, I first of all, you guys don't understand. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that this event just happened. Like a bunch of HOK representatives were sitting there and they're like, hey, you know what would be cool is if next week we have an event for streamers. No, you're talking about stuff that is months in planning. And it didn't coincide. It was a month and change away from MSE. You know what I mean? So is it more evil for a company that is just looking for streamers and paying them, or for one company to latch on to players and say for fucking 6 months you guys are not allowed to touch any other games? And also we're not going to pay you anything for it. Months in planning, but Moonton gives a warning a day before it starts. What can you say about Mr. GIF? Bro, I don't even know who Mr. GIF is. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Raiden, a donation. Super chat. Even Doggy, Yaoi, H2Woo, Renege will go to HOK. Thank you for the donation, Raiden. Are they going? I thought that they just stepped down from their current organizations. All right, Nyx, let's address that. You're just saying that they could have tried 5-man streaming to build up money for boot camp. How? Where do you think the money comes from? Do you think BTK just streams together and fucking money just starts fucking raining down on them for these? Like, I don't. Layla. Well, what you missed is I gave a little bit of a history lesson about everything. A lot of you guys, if you guys are just coming in, you could probably go back in YouTube and watch it. I'll make it available on Twitch. But the main thing that I'm talking about is that I don't like that there are a lot of people saying that they stand with BTK, and then they just go back to streaming and supporting Mobile Legends. I just think that that's hollow, and I can't do that. So I'm going to be stepping back from streaming Mobile Legends. I'm hoping it's other people can follow suit. I'm hoping people can reach out. I hope the fandom can reach out to other people to kind of take this example, and maybe it does something. Maybe it changes something. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I just what is the future of NA MLBB competition? There isn't a future. It's not that it's not looking good. It's just that there isn't. It's pretty much official that there was not going to be a slot for North America for M7. Not even a wild card slot. It was put out that Dave approached Moonton with, because they weren't going to have another NACT, so Dave went out of his way to secure like $50,000 for a prize pool for a community tournament that we would hold here, to see if Moonton would allow the winner of that tournament to go to M7, and they nixed it. They said that they didn't want a community tournament to decide who would go to M7. So that, yeah. Area 77 won't go far. I don't know how they'll do. You don't really know that they won't go far. I've seen so many times that just because this team beats this team and this team lost to this team doesn't mean that this team can't beat this team. Sometimes teams are just a kryptonite and they just have a plan that's crazy that other people can't figure out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's 100%. I have no way of knowing if that's the fact, but it just, you never know. But it just, how this is happening is very very disappointing, especially for a community like North America that has been so passionate about this. Hoon is in Oklahoma. What are you talking about? All right, guys. I will still keep my eyes peeled for everything. I know me not streaming Mobile Legends will probably mean a lot of you kind of fuck off. For a lot of you, though, I appreciate the support that has been out there. I appreciate the fandom from all of the casting that I've been doing. It has been an absolute dream of mine to cast, and the support that I've gotten from everybody while casting, even when I was casting as a potato with a little bow tie, it has been amazing. And I'm hoping that this isn't the end. But like I said, you kind of got to make a stand for something, and you kind of got to mean it. So, not me, I love you. I love you too, Booyaka. But like I said, I'm pretty sure this means that I won't ever be able to cast internationals or something, which is a bummer. But like I said, you got to kind of make a little bit of a stand for what you believe in, and I do stand with BTK. So, and I've gone over, like I said, I've gone over the reasons, and you can go back over this. I'll make the video available for you guys. Hopefully, we can keep the bad clippers at bay. Heck, you guys do me a favor. If you see somebody taking a clip of mine out of context, fucking correct them, dude. We already shied away. I'm not gonna lie. The last time somebody did that, I fucking went off for like a week in streams, and that person stopped clipping me completely. So, but yeah. Hopefully you guys can kind of spread the word, hold people accountable. But yeah, I will try to see about streaming again. I will start more with my socials, and if you guys aren't part of my Discord, I will make sure to update my YouTubes and stuff like that, the posts and stuff like that when stuff is going on with me. I'll make sure to start being more and more active on that stuff, so you guys can hear what I'm up to. I will try to stream some games. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do for Friday. Just today, like I'm burnt out, dude. Like there's just so much negativity that I'm kind of like, bro, I don't want to spread that out while I'm playing. You guys, as fun as it is to watch me rage, it's not fun on the other side when there's just a deeper problem. You know what I mean? That's kind of bubbling up. Matsuri-kan, yeah. Your TikTok is severely dead. But yeah, there's my socials up there, guys. I will also try to keep these socials alive. I'm actually going to talk to a friend about trying to help me with what I need to do to kind of keep a Twitter up. Private, you like the Minecraft? You got to do some trendy TikTok dances. We've been going. We might do some stuff a little bit more often. We've kind of been keeping great with the diet, going to the gym and stuff. I've been feeling great lately in the personal life. Job is good. I am personally in a better spot than I was in most of my Mobile Legends career. You know what I mean? Like, not for nothing, you guys might not have noticed it, but there was just a lot of stuff that usually was going on in the background that kind of weighed down on me. And at some point, sometimes that almost made me stream harder because even if I didn't feel it myself, I wanted to kind of pass on joy to other people.
And now, not that I'm saying that I'm not doing that now, but like I am now just kind of in a place that's really positive and great. So I want to keep on doing that because I want to say it's in no small part because of the fans and the casting and the community and stuff like that. You guys have helped. The friends I've met through this have been a great support. But yeah, like I said, we'll figure something out. But yeah, hold people accountable. I will see everybody at some point. Hopefully you guys have your guys self a great and decent week. But I will check you guys out a little later. Hopefully, God bless everybody. And thank you.